Welcome everyone to part 2 of migrating from Lync 2013 or Skype for Business Server 2015 to Skype for Business Server 2019. If you have not seen part 1, be sure to check out the video at the link in the video description. Today we are going to begin with the next stage of the migration with the actual migration process and live demo, as well as cleaning up from the old deployment. So let's get started. We're going to begin with step 1. Step 1 is simple. Backup, backup, backup. I cannot stress this enough. Backing up your current environment in case anything goes wrong across the migration process is critical in restoring services. To back up your environment, we are actually going to be using a free script from Mark Vail, and there is a download link there via QR code or via the bit.ly link. And this script will actually back the topology, the CMS database, persistent chat database if applicable, all user data, file shares, all policies and configurations, response groups, and additionally, it'll send an email to an admin upon completion if you do a full backup, and it'll also compress a backup file to a zip file if you do a full backup. Additionally, there's full logging capabilities to see how everything's going across the entire board, along with a progress indicator. Once the backups are completed, we're going to begin building the new pool. Ensure that pre-existing pools in the current environment have the latest cumulative updates installed. Currently here at the beginning of August, we have CU10 for Skype for Business Server 2015, and for Lync Server 2013, we have CU10 HF2. You're then going to go ahead and deploy the new pool, whether it's a standard or enterprise edition. Once the new pool is deployed, the federation route for the site will still be in use by the old environment. So we're going to associate that new pool with the legacy edge pool, whether that's Lync 2013 or Skype for Business 2015, for the federation route until the new edge pool has been created. If you need assistance building an enterprise pool, I will be publishing an enterprise guide soon to TechNet. Once the new environment is up and running, we are going to need to schedule some downtime. Some users will not like this, but it is one thing that we will need to do to ensure a successful migration. We're going to begin the migration process by migrating our users. In a large organization, you'll want to begin with a pilot group, and this pilot group needs to be a list of users that use a lot of features in Skype for Business. These features include dial-in conferencing or response groups. Once we determine who wants to be part of our pilot group, we need to go ahead and also determine what response groups will need to be moved, as the users that are part of those response groups will have to have those response groups with them in the new environment. So for procedure, we're going to open the Skype for Business control panel or Lync server control panel. We're going to navigate to users on the left-hand side and click find. Once we found all the users that we want to put part of the pilot group, we're going to go ahead and select the users by holding the control key. And then we're going to click the action menu option and select the move selected users to pool option. When the new dialog opens, it's going to ask what is the destination registrar pool that we want to move these users to. We're going to select the 2019 pool and we're going to click OK. The users will sign out of Skype for Business or Lync and they will be signed into the new environment. In the event that you will actually be using a Lync client, so if you're still in like a 2013 environment, still using the Lync UI, you're going to get a message on those users' machines that will pop up saying that your organization is moving to a new version of Lync called Skype for Business. Restart now to enjoy all the improvements, including a new Skype look and feel. As soon as the user clicks on Restart Now, the client will go ahead and look like it'd be the new Skype for Business client and no longer like the Lync client. So before you actually do migrate these users, make sure they are familiar with the Skype for Business client. However, there are not many changes between clients other than a few UI changes, so this should not be a significant change for those users. After the users have been migrated, we're going to begin the response group migration. So we're going to run the following commandlet from the Skype for Business 2019 front-end server. And what this is going to do is move the response groups from a source server to a destination server. In this example, you can see here that there is the source server as the Lync 2013 front end, and we're moving it to the Skype for Business 2019 front end. The link that is used within the Skype for Business client to actually manage the response groups will automatically be updated once this migration has begun. So there will be two reference servers in the response groups. Do not delete the old listing. The old listing will be removed as soon as we decommission the Lync 2013 environment or Skype for Business 2015 environment. In this screenshot below, you'll see that the command was ran against the environment, and then you'll see that all the groups that have been detected will be moved, and then once it is validated, it will move the response groups over to the new environment. Now that response groups have been migrated, we're going to go ahead and begin migrating our meetings. So when a user is moved to a new registrar pool, the meetings scheduled by the user and their PIN are migrated. The meeting content, however, is not. If we need to go ahead and move the meeting content for a specific user, we're actually going to need to go ahead and do this via PowerShell. So we're going to open up the Skype for Business Server PowerShell window, and we're going to type the command move-cs user, along with the move conference data perimeter to move the content over. In the event that you moved a user to the new environment, but you forgot to move the conference data, you can move the user back to that home pool. So if you moved it to 2019, you can move it back to 2013, and then run this commandlet to actually move the conference data. Additionally, we're going to need to also migrate the dial-in conferences. So these have to be moved via PowerShell. So back in the Skype for Business PowerShell, we're going to go ahead and type the command move-cs application endpoint identity, and then we're going to type the primary URI for the dial-in conference line. So in this case, it's tel 330-576-8158 with a target of the 2019 pool FQDN. So in this case, MSFT SFB 19-FE1.msftnettest.co. Once that happens, it's going to validate the perimeters for the move operation. It's going to move it to the new pool. And then when you look back at the dial-in conferencing area, you'll see that that is now registered to the Skype for Business 2019 pool. Continuing with the meetings migration, we also need to move the conference directory. The conference directory is what maps the meeting's conference IDs to the dial-in IDs. So for example, if I look at a meet link for this environment, we have meet.msftnettest.co / the user's name / sjs n33gt, and then the dial-in conference code, which is a 5-digit PIN, is actually 50,016. So this environment, since it has 3 pools, has 3 conference directory identities. So we're going to go ahead, and if you run the commandlet get-cs conference directory, you'll be able to see all the identities that you have. What we're going to do is actually just move -cs conference directory -identity that we've identified from the get command to the target pool of the 2019 pool FQDN. Once to verify the actual successful move of the conference directory, we're going to do a get CS conference directory, and you'll notice that the registrar for all 3 identities will now be the 2019 pool. Now that the meetings have been migrated, we're going to go ahead and need to migrate the call park numbers on our environment. So this is actually easiest to do via the Skype for Business control panel. So we're going to navigate to voice features on the left-hand side, and we're going to click on call park. We're going to then go ahead and click the call park that we want to move, and we're going to change the FQDN of the destination server to the new 2019 pool. Simply click save, and the destination will now be the 2019 pool. So here on the right-hand side, you can see here that we have our call park name MSFT1 call park. The number range is 80 to 89, and then the previous registrar was a Lync 2013 pool, and now we're going to be moving it to the 2019 pool. So now once this is done, we can now see here, once we go back to the all call park list, you'll see that MSFT call park 1 will be moved over to the destination of the 2019 pool. Persistent chat, if we are using that and we are going to continue moving that to the new environment, we're going to go ahead and need to export that from the Lync 2013 pool and move that into the 2015 pool. So to do this, we're going to export the persistent chat rooms from the Lync 2013 pool by running the export cs persistent chat data command with a DD instance, and then put the instance, the FQDN of the Lync 2013 server and the instance name with the file name of c:/pchat backup. We are then going to copy this file over to the 2015 pool and then go to the 2015 server and run this commandlet to actually import that into the local database for that server. And then we're going to remove the old persistent chat rooms from the old server to prevent there being dual homed rooms. So we're going to run a commandlet that is get cs persistent chat room with the -persistent chat pool FQDN option, and then we're going to put the FQDN there. And then we're going to separate that out and take everything that we found there and remove the CS persistent chat room. To verify that the rooms have been successfully migrated, we're going to go ahead and run the get CS persistent chat room. And in that output, you will see that there will not be any rooms tied to a Lync 2013 pool any longer. Now, after the rooms have been migrated, we're going to go ahead and need to migrate the default pool into Topology Builder. So we'll open up Topology Builder and change that from the Lync 2013 pool to the 2019 pool. Now, the users that will be affected by this will actually need to refollow the new rooms, as the old rooms no longer quote unquote exist due to the new server being the home for those persistent chat rooms. Here are the things that we need to migrate that are equally as important. One big thing is trunks. So we need to change the associated mediation server in the Topology Builder and also on the SBC. So for example, in this case, the ending node SBC is sending all incoming SIP calls directly to the Lync 2013 box. We need to get this so that it's going to the 2019 server, as the 2013 box will be going away. And we also need to change the associated mediation server in the Topology Builder and on the SBC. DHCP options also need to be changed. So the DHCP options are actually looking at that, whatever the old environment was to get for provisioning a Lync Phone Edition device. So we actually need to change this, and the easiest way to do that is by using a free tool from James Cusson. You can download there via that link. And this tool will just simply ask you for the new FQDN. Simply type in the FQDN for all your DHCP pools that you have, and it will change it across the board. Additionally, we also need to move any common area phones that an environment may have. So there is a commandlet here, get-cs common area phone, and we're going to filter it to the old pool FQDN, and we're going to move that phone over to the new 2019 pool FQDN. Same thing with meeting rooms. We need to move those over, so we're going to do a get CS meeting room, and move CS meeting room, and then the new target is that 2019 pool. The big one that we need to migrate also is the central management store. So we're going to go ahead and install the central management database on the 2019 server. So we're going to open up the Skype for Business Server 2019 PowerShell, and we're going to run the commandlet install-cs database. The central database will be on the new SQL server. So in this case, since it's a standard edition front-end server, it's just going to be the actual front-end server. However, if you're running in a high availability enterprise environment, that will need to be whatever the availability group name is. Or if it's just a single server, just the server name. The SQL instance name will be the instance name, and then in this case, since we're actually using just the default instance name, we are going to actually use the -default SQL paths. Then you're going to need to run enable CS topology, and then run the move CS management server. When you run that move CS management server, it's going to show you what the current state in the environment is. So if you actually look down here in the screenshot, you'll see that the current state is that everything is tied to that Lync 2013 front end, and the proposed state is now the 2019 front end. Now, once these settings look correct to you, we're then going to go ahead and press Y for yes, and it's going to go ahead and begin the migration. Once this has been migrated, there are going to be a few steps that we have to do afterwards. So we need to open up the deployment wizard on the old Lync 2013 server and run the setup on that to actually remove that CMS database from that old server. And then you can actually see down here in the output that the PowerShell window will actually remind you that you need to go ahead and do this as well. Now that the central management store has been migrated, we now need to look into the Exchange server integration. Beginning with this, we need to first migrate the Exchange Unified Messaging contact objects. So on the Skype for Business 2019 server, we're going to go ahead and run the get-cs exum contact. And then once we found all those contacts, we're then going to go ahead and move those unified messaging contacts to the new target 2019 pool FQDN. You can also filter by saying I only want certain objects to be moved. However, I highly recommend that you move all the contacts to the new pool. Now, assuming that Exchange has already been configured for pointing to the new 2019 pool, we can then go ahead and add and associate a unified messaging IP gateway to the dial plans. So this is simply done by going to the Exchange control panel and adding the new IP address of the new 2019 pool FQDN. And then we're also, while we're in there, going to remove the old gateway. Now, the trusted application for the actual OWA integration with Skype for Business, we need to actually remove the trust application from Topology Builder and create a new one pointing to the new pool. So instead of actually doing this in Topology Builder, we're actually going to go to the Skype for Business server control, PowerShell line, and we're going to run the remove CS trusted application pool with the identity of mail.msftnet.co, which is the internal and external link to the Exchange server. We're then going to create a new CS trusted application pool with the identity mail.msftnettest.co, and the registrar will be the new 2019 pool FQDN, and the site will be MSFTT1. That is the site name that we have inside of Topology Builder. And then also, if it requires replication, in this case, it's going to be false. We're then also going to create a new CS Trust application. The application ID will be Outlook Web App, and then the pool FQDN will be the mail address for the Exchange server, and then the port will be 5199. After this is complete, we need to run enable CS topology on the 2019 pool to actually enable this migration, the new server. Now that we are done with the migration stage, we're going to enter the cleanup stage. Cleanup is going to involve us removing and changing roles from the legacy front-end pool to the new front-end pool. So we need to move any type of archiving, monitoring, edge pools, call mission control, persistent chat, and DNS. Now, DNS is actually bolded and underlined because a lot of times companies do not remove the old DNS records for the old environment, but make sure that those DNS records are removed, such as your link discover internal, your meet links, your dial-in links, your SRV records. Make sure that those are removed from the environment for the old topology. Once that has been removed and everything has been moved over to the new pool, we need to go ahead and delete the legacy pool from the topology builder and then republish the topology. Now, once that process is done, we actually are going to need to go ahead and go to the actual Lync 2013 server or Skype for Business 2015 server if you are removing it. And we actually need to run the setup, and that will remove all the roles from that server. And that ensures that we have a clean cleanup of the old server from the system. So once that's done, you can then remove those servers and everything is out of the way. The other thing that we can do at this stage is now decommission the Exchange 2013 server. So really to do this is outside the scope of the presentation. However, you'll need to move anybody that's part of the old mailbox database over to the new database. And then you can actually go ahead and run the Exchange setup to actually remove the Exchange 2013 server. Additionally, the SHA-1CA, since it is no longer needed for Skype for Business, and as long as it's not being used by other services, we can also remove that from the environment as well. I'm going to go ahead and demo some of the steps that were just previously mentioned in a live demo environment to show exactly what will happen when all these steps are performed. We're going to begin with the user migration. So we're going to go ahead and open up the Skype for Business 2019 control panel. We're going to go to users and we're going to click on find. We're then going to go ahead and select all the users that are registered to another pool other than the 2019 pool. So we're going to go ahead and select Lync user 13 and Skype user 2015. And we're going to go ahead and click on action, move users to select to pool, and then we're going to set the registrar pool as the 2019 pool. As soon as we click OK, the Skype for Business client for those users is going to sign out. So as you see here in the background, we have our Lync 2013 box and our Skype 2015 box, and you'll see that those users will automatically be signed out, and when they sign in, they will be signed into their new home pool, which is the 2019 pool. Now, if you look back at the control panel, you will see that the registrar pool for those users is now showing as Skype for Business 2019, which is the new front-end server. Now that that is done, we're going to go ahead and move our response groups. So if you look at our response groups, you'll see that the SIP address and the server is actually on the Lync 2013 box. So what we're going to go ahead and do is open up our PowerShell window, and we're going to run a commandlet, which is the move RGS CSRGS configuration. So we're going to go ahead and run that with the source being the Lync 2013 pool and the destination being the 2019 pool. As soon as we run that, it's going to go ahead and come back and show us exactly what is going to be moved and what has been moved. And now when you look back here, you'll see both listed here. Make sure you do not delete the 2013 pool. It will be removed as soon as the other server that old server is demoted. So now that that is done, we need to actually move the dial-in conferencing. So we can go over on the left side to conferencing. We're going to click on dial-in access number, and then we're going to go through all of our access numbers. In this case, there's only one that's assigned to the Lync 2013 pool. So we're going to go ahead and open up PowerShell, and we're going to run a move CS application endpoint with the identity being the telephone number. At that point, it'll be moved to the new 2019 pool, and if we click refresh, you'll see that that new pool is the 2019 pool. In addition to the dial-in conferencing, we also need to move the conference directory. So if we run a get-cs conference directory, it will show you all three identities in this environment. Depending on the size of your environment, you may see more than just three identities. You may only see one, you may only see two. So go ahead and determine which ones are part of the old environments. And we're going to run a move CS conference directory with an identity of 1 and an identity of 2 to go ahead and move those to the new 2019 pool. So in this case, we just ran identity 1, and now we're going to go ahead and change that 1 to a 2 to move the 2015 environment over to the new 2019 environment. We're going to click yes to perform this action. And now we run a get CS conference directory. You'll see that the service ID is now part of the 2019 pool. Now the call park migration we're going to do via the GUI. So we're going to go on the left-hand side to voice routing. We're going to click on voice features, and we're going to click on call park. We're going to select the call park that we have defined, and we're going to go ahead and edit it. So the FQDN of the destination server is no longer going to be that Lync 2013 server. It's now going to be the Skype for Business 2019 server. So now that that's assigned, we are going to go ahead and move the persistent chat. So we're going to go to the Lync 2013 server, and we're going to open up the PowerShell window for Lync server. And we're going to run a commandlet, which is export CS persistent chat data. We're going to identify what the DB instance is, and then the file name that we're going to export to is c/pchat backup.zip. That file will be created. So now we need to go ahead and get that into the C drive of our 2015 pool. So let's go ahead and copy that. And we're going to go ahead and go to the administrative share for the C drive of that 2015 pool. And we're going to paste it there. After that's been pasted, we're going to bring up our 2015 server. And we're going to go ahead and open up the Skype for Business server PowerShell and run it as an admin. And we're going to type the import CS persistent chat data to find the new 2015 instance, and then set the file name to the c:/pchat backup.zip. It's going to ask that you want to import all the persistent chat data. We're going to click yes to all. And if we look at the control panel, we'll see that the persistent chat has been moved to the new area. Now, also, we need to run a get CS persistent chat room from the Lync 2013 server and remove those. And since the rooms now exist on the 2015 server. And then if we open up the control panel after those two rooms have been moved, you will see that there are 0 rooms listed under that Lync 2013 machine, and you'll see that there's 2 rooms now listed under the 2015 environment. So you can see now under that 2015 server, there are 2 rooms listed. Now that we have the persistent chat moved, we need to actually move the trunk over to the new environment. So we're going to go ahead, actually, my apologies. We're actually going to download the topology, and we're going to go ahead and change the default persistent chat location. So we're just going to save the topology file here as the current date, which is August 4th. I always like to put a -1 or -2 next to it, depending on what revision it is for that day. And we're going to go ahead and expand Skype for Business server. We're going to go to the site. We're going to go to the site and right-click and click Properties. And we're going to go down and choose the default persistent chat pool to be the new 2015 box. Click OK. And then we're going to go to Action and then publish the topology. So you see we have green checks all across the board. So now we're going to move the actual SIP trunks. So we're going to go ahead and log into our AnyNode SBC, and the license on this is actually expired. So unfortunately, you will see those licensing errors. However, it does not affect us changing these settings, and I'll at least show you where to change them if you're using an AnyNode SBC. So we're going to log in as an admin, and we're going to go across the top, and we're going to switch it over to configuration mode. So let's go ahead and click configuration mode. And then we're going to click on Skype for Business and then click on the SIP node. Now here we are going to need to go ahead and change the name from the Lync 13 machine over to the Skype for Business 2019 machine. So I'm just going to remove the word Lync 13 and replace with SFB 19 for the server FQDN. Click OK. We're going to commit those changes and we're going to go back to monitor mode. You'll also see that Skype for Business is showing as non-operational. So now in the Skype for Business Server 2019 topology builder, we're going to expand the 2019 environment. We're going to right-click the mediation server, and we're going to enable TCP as TLS is currently not being used in this environment. We're going to click OK, and then we're going to click on the shared components, and we're going to expand the trunks. We're going to right-click it and click on properties. Now we need to change the associated mediation server as the 2019 box and verify that 5068 is selected. And then we will go up to Action, Topology, and then publish the topology. Now, even though that it's not required, I always like to run the Skype for Business setup on the machine that you're currently changing roles on. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the deployment wizard as an admin. And I'm going to go ahead and click on the install or update Skype for Business server system. Then we're going to click on the Run option next to Set up or Remove Skype for Business Server Components. Now that's finished. And if we go ahead and look back at the shared components here, you'll see that it is pointing to the 2019 pool under the PSTN gateway and under the trunk that's defined in this environment. So we're just going to go ahead and refresh this AnyNode SBC's web page here. And we will go ahead and see that it will still list as non-operational next to the Skype for Business environment. However, once it refreshes here, you should see that state changed to OK, and it just changed to OK, meaning that it is now connected to Skype for Business on the AnyNode SBC, and that migration piece has been completed. So now we're going to go ahead and update the DHCP options. Now in this environment, we already have the DHCP options defined, and unfortunately, actually before recording this, I did not realize that the options were already pointing to the 2018 box. So I'm still just going to show how to use the tool. So we're going to run the PowerShell script that was provided, and we're going to go ahead and run that. And you'll see it pulls a lot of information from DHCP. We're going to select our primary scope, and you'll see that the SIP pool FQDN and the web FQDN are now pointing to the new 2019 server. Make sure that that's pointing to the server that is the server or pool that you're going to be using going forward. In this stage, you'd also move any type of common area phones or meeting rooms. But next, we're actually going to begin the process to start moving the central management store in this environment. So if we open up the PowerShell over there, we're going to go ahead and run the commandlet to install the CS database for the central management store. And I actually think I have a quick typo on this. I accidentally put /RTC, so I'm just going to go ahead and fix that here real quick. Just remove that /RTC because we just want that server FQDN. And we're going to go ahead and install that CS database. Now, unfortunately, this server did lock up, and due to some other issues, it did not like installing the central management store on that. Due to it being a lab environment, I did not troubleshoot it. However, the commandlets do work. It was done before. And then after that, you would also do your Exchange contact migration. So we're just going to give it a second here to kind of install that CS database, and I believe I actually skipped ahead here in a second. So now that you can see that this is done, and you'll see that the databases were all created. And then we're going to go ahead and run the commandlet to enable CS topology. You'll see that that will run pretty quick here. And after this, we're going to go ahead and run the move CS management server. In this case, it did not work. It actually locked up the server. So unfortunately, that will be the end of where the video tutorial will end. But like I said before, just simply go ahead and move the Exchange contacts as well. This concludes part 2 of this video series. In part 3, we'll be finishing up the migration by verifying that the services are working correctly and cover a final review. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.